Hey y'all, it's spring, I think. I don't know about y'all's weather, but I know in Colorado it's still snowing, and here in Iowa, it's not like, I don't know. It's just pretty shitty, truthfully. But hey, with May flowers comes May showers? I don't think that's saying. But it does come with 14 albums that I'm going to be quick reviewing. It's usually 15 or higher, but I've had a rough month, okay? And also, I did 16 back in March, so I think it evens out. Yeah, so 14 albums. There still will be 3 groups, just one of the groups will have one less album. Cool? Cool. Let's just get started with the elephant in the room. And kicking us off is Harry Styles, of course, releasing his 3rd studio album, Harry's House. And this is just as enjoyable as his other albums. While not his best, I think that goes to his debut, this is still great. There's only a couple of tracks worth skipping, like the outro, Love of My Life, Keep Driving, Little Freak, God I Hate Little Freak, and Late Night Talking. However, every other track on this album is at least good. I think my favorite track is probably either Daylight or... or hell, As It Was. Daylight probably, though, because it leans into the vibey sort of ideas that are coming from this record, especially with the synths, which only add to the vocals and the drums that just create this amazing instrumental as it evolves throughout the song. Music for a Sushi Restaurant, the opener, is very jazzy, which is something I think Harry has tackled before, but I don't think he's done it on full force like on this song. It has some really great vocals, and I love the bass on this thing. The only thing I'd change is probably the bridge. Grape Juice is a nice acoustic, has a nice piano, and it's really just vibes. The whole thing is just vibes. And that's mostly to be said for Matilda. However, Matilda is very much more pleasant, less forcing you to sort of just bob your head with it. It's more making you smile as you bob your head. I think Harry Styles has created yet another great album, and that's all to be said. Stand Atlantic is an Australian pop-punk band that I've been sticking out with for a while, ever since their beginning. Skinny Dipping is a great album. I think, Pink Elephant is good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good, and I think this continues the trend of slowly getting worse. With Fear, while the singles were very hit and miss, there were 3 really great singles, Pity Party, Death Wish, and Molotov. However, there were also 2 really bad singles, like Hair Out and Switchblade. I think overall this album is very hit or miss. You could hit shuffle and you could end up with songs like, for example, Dumb or Van Gogh or Doomsday that are really good. You could also end up with songs like XO, Cabin Fever, I Wonder What Kind of Garlic Bread They Eat at Mensa, and then the 2 singles I mentioned that are pretty bad. So, be careful. Addison Grace once again proves why he is a force to be reckoned with in the indie pop world. He has songs on this EP that would outshine most of the albums here. While I don't particularly love Kill the Switch, I think it's very boring and very played out. Every other song on this is great. From I Want to Be a Boy to Getting Used to It, this is a great EP, and there's no way around it. Simple Plan is back, and I actually didn't hate this one, and I don't know why. See, Simple Plan is one of those bands where they're very hit or miss. Depending on if you're into the music, it depends on whether you like it. So, for example, songs like Welcome to My Life or I'm Just a Kid, you have to be invested in them somewhat. You have to immerse yourself in the fact that these are like fucking 20, 30-year-olds talking about this shit. And if you do that, it'll work out. And I think this album relies on that to an extent, especially with my favorite song, 2, which is about a divorce, about how he didn't want 2 Christmases and 2 houses and 2 weekends. Like, He didn't want this. And I think it's very good from a storytelling perspective, but if you take away the immersion of the fact that this is a 40-year-old man who is doing this, I don't think he's 40, I think he's like 30, late 30, early 40-year-old man doing this, yeah, it's a bit weird. But if you immerse yourself in the idea, it's a lot better. I really like Congratulations. It has a great bass and a great guitar. I love the transitions on this thing, what I would call all-time low-esque, which is like the final chorus where they bring it down and then the cymbals come back in and then it continues with the chorus. Like, if you want a good example of this, listen to, I think, Don't You Go by All Time Low. Don't you go, that type of thing. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty okay pop-punk record. And moving on to a pretty bad pop-punk record. So-Called Life and No Tomorrow are the two good songs on this album. The two. This album is, I think, 12 songs, and I don't want to count them because I hate counting, so I'm just not going to. This is an anthemic album, but here's the issue. Not every song is an anthem, and I understand that the most. I write music, and I listen to a ton of it. If every song on an album is an anthem, none of them are anthems. It's the same idea as what Syndrome said in The Incredibles. If everyone's super, no one is. So, while some of the anthems work, the rest of them just fucking fall flat on their face. Florence and the Machine make their return after their 2018 record, High as Hope, which is my second favorite Florence and the Machine album, not including this one, my other being Lungs. However, this is a really great album. I don't think Florence and the Machine have missed. I think every one of their albums is great, from Lungs to Dance Fever. And that's 5, by the way. The singles for this thing were really good. I liked King, I liked Heaven Is Here, and I liked My Love, and those were the 3 singles I really focused on. Really liked all of them. And the deep cuts on this thing are also really good. My personal favorite being Daffodil, which has some great percussion and these amazing soaring vocals, I think, from Florence. And it really showcases what makes Florence and the Machine a great band. How they can cooperate together. While Florence is the front woman, you never forget about the Machine, okay? Free is another great one. It has a great bass intro. There's some great vocals and some great lyrics. I'm pretty sure this was a single, but I don't think I listened to it. And the chorus, oh my god, the chorus, sorry. Cassandra is really good, has a nice guitar, has some good vocals. It has some nice percussion, and there's these harmonies in the song. Overall, I mean, I think almost every aspect of this record, if it's good in one song, it'll be good in almost all of them. Vocals, percussion, guitar, bass. However, there are a couple of songs like, Back in Town and Restraint, which I guess Restraint is an interlude, but it has an acoustic guitar, so fuck you. Back in Town, which just doesn't really work for me. While everything on paper is perfect, it's really not. I don't know, I don't like it, okay? I just don't. Yeah, so overall, I think this is another great Florence and the Machine record. Definitely worth the listen. I'd love to do a deep discography dive on Florence. I Don't Know dropped his EP, I guess, last month, I guess, and it's pretty good. I mean, there are songs like Taco and Zaza Tree, which I just can't stand, but other than that, I mean, most of these songs that aren't interludes, Southeast to Paris and Paris to Southwest, or Southeast, are pretty good. I like The Code, and I think the big song to recommend here is The Code or Dog Food, but more for the features and less for I Don't Know. Sunflower Beam, a band I didn't only found out about because of TikTok, dropped their 3rd album this last month, and it's pretty goddamn good. Like, I wasn't expecting this level of greatness from this indie album. almost everything is always on point. I think they sometimes fall into the trap of trying to be too perfect, when in actuality some of these songs are really good because of the messiness that is there. For example, my personal favorite, I Don't Have Control Sometimes. There's a bit of messiness in the song, which I really enjoy. The intro, Who Put You Up to This, is really good, with from an acoustic intro that slowly leads into this pump up, I guess. I don't know. It goes more electric throughout, with a great solo that kind of really shows the pivot. Roll the Dice is really good. And my personal favorite song, Feel Somebody, the closer, is amazing. Overall, great indie record. Arcade Fire made an album, I guess, and I think this is boring in a bad way. There are records that are boring in a mediocre way, but this just, I can't. I think this album is a bit ambitious, even for Arcade Fire, and I've never really been a fan of Arcade Fire. There are a total of 3 great songs on this album. Goddammit, Age of Anxiety Part 1 and Both of the Lightnings are great in my opinion. However, everything else on this album is either really bad or really boring, but in an annoying way. Because every goddamn song on this album is way too goddamn ambitious, which means whenever it falls flat on its face because of its uninterest, it makes me have to sit through like 5 minutes of this bullshit. To an album I actually like, State Champs made their All-Time Low album. I actually haven't heard a full State Champs album in my life, except for this one, of course, 3 goddamn times, and I actually really liked it. I originally listened to the single, I think it had 5 songs on it. Let me flick back, because I listened to it thinking it was an EP, not realizing it was just a single it was just singles. And I know I listened to it the same day I listened to Ricky Montgomery, because I was pretty sure they were both EPs, so I just put them on the same page. It was the Eventually single, and I really like that set of 5 songs, but God, the album's so much better. I mean, the best song on this thing is Everybody But You, the lead single, I think. But, I mean, songs like Here to Stay, Some Minds Don't Change, Where Were You, and Half Empty are just incredible pieces of pop punk that deserve recognition. So, absolutely listen to this record. And that brings us into Group 3, the Blues Rocks Battle. The Black Keys versus Jack White. I already did sort of mini review for Jack White's Fear of the Dawn, and I thought it was great. It was an 8 out of 10. Does this Black Keys album give it a run for its money? Yes. On songs. The intro, Wild Child, is this incredible, just fun time. I mean, the Black Keys, it's a throwback, more or less. Not even to old Black Keys, just to blues rock in general. I mean, the Black Keys, at their best on this album, are throwing back to old ideas and improving on them. Wild Child also is fun to scream along to, I know from experience. For the Love of Money is this amazing guitar. The vocals on this thing, by the way, real quick sidetrack, the vocals on this entire album are just really good. And so is the percussion. The guitar is sometimes a bit hit or miss, but that's okay. It's really catchy, and it has this really fun aspect in the tambourine, and I'm not sure why I love the tambourine so much. I just love it. Good Love is a really great intro, hella percussion, but the thing that really makes the song is the melodies. Burn the Damn Thing Down. It just has this really nice energy to it, and it fades out, which is something that is perfect for a throwback type tune, because that's what every old song used to do. Happiness is pretty good. It's really enjoyable. And Baby I'm Coming Home. While there's a switch up that maybe isn't the greatest thing in the world, overall the track is pretty good. The Black Keys, I think, are the best if you just try to enjoy it. If you look at it through a critical lens, a lot of their albums don't hold up, but this is definitely one that does for me. However, is it as good as Jack White's? Hell no. This isn't great, but it's good, and I think it's the best thing the Black Keys have put out in a while. Papa Roach released their 11th studio album 2 months ago, but I skipped over it, so now I'm doing it this month. And that's actually decent. I mean, I went into this with not great expectations, considering Who Do You Trust was their last album, which was a piece of music. But this is pretty alright. The singles were very misleading. Stand Up and Swerve in particular, which are both terrible, terrible songs, and they're the two worst songs on the record. However, songs like fucking Liar, Ego Trip, Always Wandering, No Apologies, and I Surrender are incredible pieces of music that deserve to be recognized for what they are, which is Papa Roach bringing it back to basics and just trying to make bangers. Wow, this Train album is a generic piece of pop that doesn't have any salvageable parts in it at all. Who the fuck could have guessed? I was really looking forward to this, especially from the single Take a Lesson. It was this intro of introducing Anvil about this, like, how they persevered and how they were a great band because of it. And it was a really great song. I was really looking forward to this. And then I listened to the record, and I really didn't like it. Ghost Shadow, Another Gunfight, fucking Someone to Hate, Bad Side of Town, Wizard's Wand, Lockdown, Explosive Energy, and Shockwave make me want to gouge my eyes out whenever I hear them, in hopes that I'll never have to see this goddamn album in a record store and have to think, who the fuck would buy this? Especially Lockdown, which is by far the worst song I've heard this year, right up there with 20s. However, songs like Teabag and Fire Rain and, of course, Gomez are actually pretty decent, and I do find some enjoyment out of them. However, overall, this Anvil album falls flat and just shows this idea of an aging rock band. And those were the reviews. I hope you enjoyed this video. This next month is going to be hectic as hell for me, because I'm going to have, of course, the June monthly album reviews, Brockhampton's discography review, and me ranking my 17 10 out of 10 albums, so that's 3 videos at least, plus whatever singular album reviews I do, which I'll try to keep those to a minimum, just because I don't want to spend too much time on this. However, I will announce the next deep discography dive person is Kendrick Lamar, so I'm really looking forward to that after Brockhampton. Not to say Brockhampton has been bad, but you'll see that. I am doing a stream tonight at, I think I'm going to change it to 11:30 time, somewhere in between there, so get on Twitch. It's at Carson the Music Talker, so check it out. Peace.